Are you ready, RobbyG?
Drum roll.
For Wino Wednesday, you know the number?
You ask me every week, I should know. 32?
31.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was really good.
That was close.
Welcome, everybody. I am McCheese Gina.
And I'm RobbyG.
And we're here today to celebrate Malbec and celebrate it by drinking it along with a wonderful cheese board for our Wino Wednesday, Rob. It feels like it's been a long time. We had our in-person one. That's why this feels so different to be virtual again.
Yeah. And you know, I think we had maybe another in-person one recently because we've been getting back to doing the in-person events, and we have some wine bars or winery partners that we've been doing some events with. So it's probably been a month or so since we've done one of these on
so
YouTube.
Kind of out of practice on the whole YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But you know what I learned, RobbyG? For those of you, we've got a lot of people that have been joining us for 31 of these tastings. Welcome back, all of you. And for a lot of new people that I saw on the list out there, you can chat with us via YouTube. And I see that I don't see anything here, but we should be on. You can chat with us via YouTube, and you don't even have to have an account, apparently, anymore to do so.
Whoa, good job, YouTube.
Yeah,
way to go.
YouTube. So if anyone is out there, hello, world.
If you're in YouTube land,
can you just let me know?
say hi.
Yeah, getting weird little, it all looks different. You know when things get updated? Just when you think you have it. That's what happens to me. I think I got it, and then I'm like, this is all different.
I hate the updates on anything, even just on my TV or on my phone. Like,
I can't keep up.
I have to learn this again.
Exactly.
I hate learning.
I hate learning too. So, anywho, we've got 8 people. May I crack the Malbec today, my most favorite type of cork?
Twisty.
The twisty. Because as we know, I've had issues with corks, pop tops.
Some of that I have to take the blame for. Some of it was my fault.
Most of it's probably. Most of it probably your fault.
In 50 years, will there be such thing as a corked bottle anymore? Will they even do that anymore?
I wonder.
Maybe just for the bubbles?
That'll end up being kind of a vintage bottle.
Yeah.
Or, right? Maybe.
It'll be for for collectors or people who, it's like the same type of people who go to record stores or go to bookstores.
To get the vinyl?
Yeah.
You're going to go pick up the corks. On that note, cork.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. And our friend Jason's out there, so
Hey,
I know
Jason.
it's working. Hello, welcome, Jason. Thanks for joining.
And it was great to see you in Del Mar.
Oh my God, to
last
really
week or
see
2
people.
weeks ago.
Yeah. It's too bad. We see little faces, on the chat, but
Yeah.
it's too little. I knew.
No, we didn't
I couldn't
know.
see that. But now we know. So, all good. Let me give a sip of this El Libra from Argentina. We don't have no cheeses, and don't even ask. From Argentina.
Nothing even that I've
Mm-hmm.
ever seen that was available here. I've never been to Argentina. Have you?
I have. To Buenos Aires.
Lucky
Son of
a
dog.
dog.
And I will tell you where I learned to love Malbec. It was Argentina. Where was I going with that right before?
You
said,
said,
any cheeses from South America. Do you know in our whole history of Venissimo, there's over 2,000 cheeses in the database, Rob? And I think this was even for you, which is not very many years. It was very early in Venissimo history. One cheese from South America ever, and it was called Zuleta.
Okay.
Do you recall this or seeing it? I don't know if it was right then. It's kind of a tom style, which we'll get into right here, but it had black pepper in it.
Do you know what country?
Yeah, Argentina.
Okay.
And that was the only South American cheese we have ever had in the shops. Isn't that interesting?
No, but I feel like there's a cheese called Zuleta from Spain. Is there not?
Zamorano from Spain.
Maybe so I do know that with a lot of the New World regions, like we name them, like there's a region called Rioja, a wine region in Argentina.
Yes. Oh, in Argentina? So that's confusing.
Yes.
I think of it as Spain.
Well, it is Spain.
But why is it Argentina?
Because they use a lot of the same names as the old world.
Not allowed. It's confusing.
Like how we call, a certain part of the country New England or like all of those names. York, that's a Dutch name. I mean, there's
stolen words.
Yeah, we just
stolen name.
use
Pilfered.
the same names.
Pilfered.
There's a New London. There's New everything.
There's new everything. Well, I want to be new Gina, not old Gina. But on that rate. And hey, George, we got a few chatters coming too. Okay, yes. So Argentina, Buenos Aires, Malbec, their most famous popular grape, right?
And so they would be. They're known, of course, for great wine. Maybe more known for meat.
That's what I was going to say. When I think of Malbec, I think of meat, 100%. Like this needs, and this is what we will get to on the cheese plate momentarily. I think this wine needs meat, and I think this is why they go so great together, and that's what you eat when you're in Buenos Aires is big hunks of meat.
Huge, thick steaks.
Slabs of steak. Okay, and Rob, can I tell you? So one of, fortunate to travel all over the world. Really, in one of the top 5 meals ever. One was at a bar in Buenos Aires, and it maybe could hold 10 people, and then a room behind us maybe held another 15 more. But they were grilling it just right in front of you. So we sat at the bar, and the grill was, from here 6 feet away. The big open flames, right? And like you said, the thick steaks, they're just grilling away. So Roger and I, order one, thinking, because we're like, they're huge, like this big, side of my head. We'll order one and we'll share. And we did. And in walks a little lady, she's like in her 20s, and she was like this big, plops down next to me. She orders the whole thing for herself, bottle of wine, probably a Malbec, and sat there and proceeded to eat that whole steak.
Savage.
My
idol.
My idol, yeah, truly my idol. Anyway, want to go back, and I do. I think it goes great with meat, and we know it does.
That is great. Yeah, so that's what I think of when I think of Argentina. I think meat first. And then Malbec. I think Malbec.
Yeah.
But I looked up Malbec, and the Argentina is the leader of that grape, but it didn't originate in South America or Argentina.
That's so
it
interesting.
Is originally from southern France.
France is everything. All these things.
It seems
so many
like
things
it, doesn't
from
it?
France.
And it is one of the 6 that goes in the traditional Bordeaux blend.
Oh,
so
okay.
not just anywhere in France, but specifically southern France and Bordeaux, which we've had Wino Wednesdays on Bordeaux or other grapes. I think at least 2 other grapes that originate in Bordeaux. So it still is used in Bordeaux blends, but it's as it lost popularity in southern France and Bordeaux, it gained popularity in Argentina, and it's a grape that is really dark, almost like inky,
blackish, right?
Yeah, really dark.
The wine itself is.
And it can be very tannic, especially the old world versions. It does well in the sun. It likes the sun. So that's why I think South America is a good place for it.
Yeah.
In southern France, of course. So it lost popularity in France because of the epidemic, what's it called, phylloxera? Is that how you pronounce that word? And frost. And so, but it came out to South America probably in the 1800s, and it gained a lot of popularity, and the grapes changed a little bit, so the clusters are a little bit smaller, and it has a little bit less of a tannic body, the South American version.
Which I like. It's too much. I'm not big on the tannins myself.
You don't like to chew your wine?
I don't like to chew my wine. I like to chew my food and drink lots of wine.
How are you with peanut butter? Chunky or non-chunky?
I'm a chunky. What are you?
Chunky.
Oh, yeah. Whoever isn't, I'm weird.
Not to digress, but I started this thing where I put a scoop of peanut butter and vanilla ice cream.
That sounds awesome.
It's really good.
Do you mix it then, or just kind of?
I make like a swirl. I make my own like Ben and Jerry's flip thing.
Rob's.
How about orange juice? Do you like chunky? Do you like the really pulpy orange juice?
Yes.
Okay.
I like pulpy.
Yeah.
What
I'm in the mood for.
Okay. That could be a whole thing of the textures, food textures. We'll have to think of that. Keep that in mind. But no, this is really good. It's fruity, not so tannic. Lovable. I just want to say, berry-like, again, which is why it's going to go so great with these cheeses, that jam, and that meat. I can tell you that right now.
We should tell people what's on your plate, because we've been talking long enough. We'll talk more about the wine. But the order that's on the tasting card is number 1, Tome de Stein, which is the triangle with the natural rind. Show them the rind, Gina. And you can eat that rind.
Yes. It's kind of grayish, whitish. We'll have to hear about that.
Yeah. It's a natural rind. Go ahead and start with that one if you haven't already.
Okay.
The second cheese is the Quix Red Lester.
I love that name.
And,
Red Lester.
It's more of orangey, but orangey reddish, I guess. That's the Red Lester. That is a super just as traditional classic English style as you can possibly find. The third one is, I guess there could be a debate between which goes third and fourth.
Exactly.
We're going to do the Bleu de Bocage third, and that's from it's French, and it's a blue, and it's got a natural rind as well. And
these all have this is a a study of rinds today. It's going to be great. All of them.
They're all, you can eat everything. The Grayson is the fourth one, and that's the kind of like squishy, spongy one. It's a stinky cheese. Whoa.
Whoa. You're not going to miss the Grayson. You're going to, it's good.
Of course, all kinds of fun accoutrements. This is a blackberry?
Blackberry jam. To go with the blackberry notes in the Malbec.
Yeah, complimentary. The meat.
I don't want to mess this up. I know everybody's got this. And Danya of our Mission Hills shop put these together for us. Look at this.
Shout out to Danya if you're out there.
Think?
It's beautiful.
Danya, well done.
I want to wear it like a corsage.
Maybe like a Lady Gaga. Your version of Lady Gaga's meat dress is Rob's meat corsage.
And then you've got grapes and blueberries, crackers, all kinds of good stuff on there.
All good. When can we eat?
Let's eat now.
Okay.
Let's start with the
Tome.
Tome de
Why
Tome.
is it called a tome, Professor?
So tomes are, gosh, there's debate onto why they call it tome. It could be the shape. So they come in like a little, usually like a 4 or 5 pound wheel.
Kind of the classic cheese wheel shape, right?
Yeah, oftentimes we call them table cheeses, kind of this style. So they're usually the same shape. So I've seen in other places where they say tomes were always made with skim milk or even leftover milk.
Oh.
So it was just it was a way for nothing to ever go to waste and to just kind of make something with what you have, because nothing ever went to waste. That's a
never
common one.
waste. That's good.
They always have natural rinds.
Yeah, and it smells like a cave to me. Like I love smelling the I love smelling the rinds, and I love when they smell like they've been sitting in a dank cave. This one has a little bit of that. The cheese itself is super mild and pleasant.
Is mild.
I keep thinking this is the one just to get your taste buds tingling and dancing and ready to nibble and eat.
This one is, it's hard to put this one into any kind of box or category. It's sheep's milk. So that's the first thing that is the first way to sort of like define this cheese. The second thing to look at is the region. How's it with the wine?
It's awesome with the wine.
Is it?
Super. I thought it might disappear and melt away. No, it's super, super good. Go ahead with the region. Sorry.
Okay, the region it comes from is Midi-Pyrenees, which is all those regions kind of run together in the south. So we have, this is sort of a spin off a regional pairing. If we're going to say Malbec is, of course this is Argentinian, but it is similar to the Bordeaux wines.
Right.
And
similar region.
Similar region. So right next
tie it
to
all together.
That's what I do.
Yep.
So you have like the Basque region, Bordeaux, Aquitaine, and then next to that is Midi-Pyrenees and Auvergne, kind of like southwest part of the country. So a lot of similar grapes and wine. Grapes are grown and wines are made down there. And the Basque cheeses are in this family.
It looks like a Basque cheese.
Exactly. Sheep's milk, natural rind. A lot of them are tomes. Roquefort, which I mentioned, is also from the same region, is always made with sheep's milk. So what you find, because of the terrain, because of the part of the country and the part of Europe, because they're the same types of cheeses and wines are also made in Spain on the other side of the border.
That's right, yeah.
Lots of sheep and goat's milk and big red wines, like oak aged reds.
Yeah.
And Sauv Blanc is the white grape that comes from down there.
But wow, it stands up. I was very worried that it would just disappear. We wouldn't taste it. It would be a sad pairing. It was not a sad pairing. Super happy pairing.
Happy one.
Go figure. Every time, you can sit there and just think about these two are going to be great together, but until you really open it up and try it together, you don't know.
And you say open up, like open up is the right word for a wine.
For wine.
This, right?
I'm starting to do wine lingo now, Rob, after 31 bottles of wine.
31 bottles of wine
in my tummy, 31 bottles of wine.
This could be one that can maybe be decanted. What do you think?
I think it could, yeah. I mean, it's a young wine. That's the Vinos. I can't pronounce it, young in French.
Hoven or something?
Hoven, something like that. But young wine, not meant to be like kept for years like a Cabernet or anything. This is definitely meant to be drank.
Yeah. I would, if I were to put this in any kind of, the cheese, in any kind of category, I would put it in like the Basque family.
Also Irati.
Yeah.
Petit Basque.
Petit Basque, Abbaye de Ballac. even Idiazabal, which is from the Spanish side.
Manchego, you could go that route, that direction a little bit, like a younger Manchego.
So fun little, I'm not sure what the word Estain means, but this cheese it's made in a co-op, which means they get a bunch of farmers together.
Yeah.
In this case, it's 17 families that all are shepherds. That's what they do. They shepherd, they pull all that milk together, and it would just be too hard for one of those families to make something like this happen. So they all have to come together.
You need so much milk.
Use all their resources, but also to make enough to get it on the pallet, to make it make sense financially, to get it out of the region. But
think of the logistics of that, people. Seriously, here's some in the Midi-Pyrenees. Rob is saying this is way out there. This is not by any big city. These are 17 farmers that maybe have a flock of, I don't know, say 20, 50 sheep. How many?
I think it might even say it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Never mind.
But not that many. So there's one farmer. They have to take care of the animals, let them graze, get their milk, transport the milk to the creamery. Creamery's got to take over, do their thing, make the cheese, and it takes months to make something like this. Then somehow from that little mountain chalet, have to take it to the city, get it exported. Then it has to get on a boat, get on a plane, make itself over here to the import, and get to us. Somehow we get it. Amazing, right?
Power in numbers. Everybody does what they do well. People focus on what they're good at. When you bring everyone together, you can make things happen.
Yeah.
They actually had a little assistance. They use the facility of a Roquefort producer to make their cheese, and sometimes
kind of co-oping facility.
Yeah, there was a facility there, and they probably they didn't think of doing a GoFundMe, and so they they had to they used the facility and they probably had to decontaminate it, get all the blue spores out of there, so they can make their own cheese.
Be their own cheese. You know what I would think would be fascinating, Rob, to invent is there almost like a mini GoPro camera that could follow the process from start to finish, from the shepherd's animal, to the milk, and the whole process of getting the cheese here to a plate like this tonight. What that would be.
There would be
how do we make that into a movie?
A lot of time probably in a plane or a boat, and it'd just be dark in the back of
Okay, yeah, maybe we would speed up that part of the film.
That'd be boring, but
thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
No, it would be fascinating.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Just the work that's involved to get here.
Yeah, I think there's it's also really interesting when you go look at these places and you see how it goes from room to room. Like the room it starts in, and then the room they move it to, then the room it ends up in.
Different.
Yeah, exactly. It just needs different conditions at different stages of its life. And so speaking of that, we mentioned it's sheep's milk. It's made with animal rennet, and this cheese gets aged for 2 to 6 months. So there's a little range on there. This one is probably, I don't think it's 6 months. I think it's closer to 2 months just because of the texture on it.
Yeah, I think so too, because it's very pliable, right?
This whole the co-op
go ahead.
project was born in 1996.
Okay, so very recent.
And they call it the Larzac Shepherds. So that's what they call this group of shepherds.
Did you know, Robin, I think we've said this before, sheep milk cheeses and berries are so good. Like cherries, kind of like the classic that I put with sheep milk, but you got to try it with the blackberry jam. You know
what it is? It's sheep's milk. If you guys notice, it's very it's really rich and it's really full fat. So it has it really coats your mouth, and it begs for something sweet to kind of just to balance it off.
And it does it very, very, very well. My whole theory of the small glass, Rob, we've gone through this many times. Just, I don't know why I bothered. Yeah, would that be classy? One day we'll have no glasses, just out of the bottle, because why not?
Well, I was going to say something else about Malbec. So Mendoza. Mendoza is the region. It comes from. I wouldn't be surprised if there's also a Mendoza in Spain.
Maybe. Very high altitude region, right?
Yeah.
Super high. It's one of the highest in the world.
So the best Malbecs are said to be from Mendoza, which is, I'm not sure what the altitude is, but it is up there.
Super, super good. Love. Yes. And did you notice I made my lipstick be Malbec-esque? tonight.
It's complimentary.
It's complimentary. I want to do complimentary lipsticking with the tasting today.
Nice.
All right, what next, sir?
Well,
Oh,
I
I'm so
think
excited. I know it.
we're doing Quix next.
Yes. Red Lester.
Red Lester.
It looks like Leicester, I mean, when you look at it, but that is really Lester.
Everybody
Lester.
smell this cheese. Okay.
Okay.
Does this
I love
not smell like dirt?
Yes, I love that.
It smells like dirt.
It smells like dirt.
And we don't mean that in a negative, in a bad way.
I love dirt cheeses. This is why I like the English cheddars.
This is,
Wow.
I've seen their aging facility. So this cheesemaker Quix is in Southwest England. They're in Devon, which is, near where the town of Cheddar is. And a lot of the traditional cheddars are made down there. This is kind of like I was going to say about the Malbec and how it gets blended in like Bordeaux wines or Bordeaux blends. Sometimes they'll call it a Bordeaux style if it's made in the Loire Valley or if it's made in Midi-Pyrenees or something. It's made next door, but they use the same
style.
blend.
Yeah.
Yeah. We say the same thing about cheeses, where we'll say it's a brie style or a cheddar style or Gouda style if it's not from Southwest England or if it's not from
Brie
or from Holland or something like that.
Yes.
So Red Lester is originally from a region in England called the East Midlands.
East Midlands,
The
okay.
East Midlands.
Wait, that's a contradictory term. East and mid.
It's true. But
Midlands.
the East Midlands is home to a really famous cheese called Stilton, which is a blue cheese.
Everyone knows Stilton.
And they would make the Red Lester from the leftover milk from Stilton.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so there's not a lot of Red Lesters that come from the East Midlands anymore. So this cheesemaker, Quix, and that's the family's last name, they've had a farm in Southwest England for 500 years.
Isn't that so cool?
They've been making cheese since the 70s. So they've been making cheese.
Okay.
They maybe have been making cheese for themselves for a long time.
But
like commercially making
our
cheese.
enjoyment.
Yeah. So they make this Red Lester, but it's really a Red Lester style.
Okay.
So the actual name of this cheese is Devonshire red cloth bound cheese.
Whoa. Okay.
So this is
that's so literal.
we've talked about this on this show before, Wino Wednesday, where the cheesemaker gives the cheese a name and then we kind of change it up a little bit to make it more marketable. I don't know if we changed it or if like somebody else in the middle changed it, but we call it Red Lester.
We do, because that's such a cooler word,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, who wants, what did you call it?
Devonshire red cloth bound cheese.
Red Lester sounds much more fun. I want to meet this Lester character because it sounds super, super fun. This is pleasant too, Rob. And I would sit and eat. I would keep a drum of this in the fridge to me. I love this cheese. Grass, cave wall. Again, as a kid, I thought it was so cool to suck on a stone. And to me, this is like sucking on a stone because it's just, like I said, dirt and mineral and cave. But I think grass too. Like there's something sweet about this. Something sweet.
It's got like nuttiness. You can it's got that mouth coating thing that the Estain has too, but they're so different. It's so distinct.
Yeah.
And
this made the wine a lot brighter, like more tart. Interestingly, where the other one was just smooth butter cream together, this one made the wine pop.
Huh.
Interesting, right?
That is interesting.
Yeah.
These guys make a lot of different cheeses. Quix does. Most of what they do, or what they're known for, are cheddars. So they've got a number of different cheddars, and they are that really classic style of cheddar.
Yeah.
Various ages. They do it where they're always cloth bound, and so they all kind of. I hate to say it, but a lot of the English cheeses, at least the traditional ones,
They're gonna kill you if they hear this. I know what you're gonna say.
they are very similar.
Yes.
Sorry, England, but
It is. They're very similar. I agree.
there's just some kind of quality. Like
Yeah.
all the traditional ones kind of have this in a good way, this dirt, this
dirty
limestone.
taste. Yeah. But they do.
Yeah.
And if you eat the rind on this one, you guys, seriously, that's when it really comes out. The center was creamy good, but when you eat that rind, you get that stone, you get that mineral.
You know
I love
what?
that.
Okay, I get this on the rind. Now tell me if you get it. Maybe you have to have another piece.
Oh, yes, I will.
And I hate to tell people what they taste, but for this especially, Quix, there's something about Quix cheeses, all of them, you get a horseradish on the rind.
Okay, I'll try that now.
So now you're going to taste it, now that I'm telling you that. If anybody tastes a horseradish now that I'm planning it in your head, tell us.
I'm going to say yay to yes to the horseradish.
I knew there was something distinct about their cheeses, and we had one of their sales reps come in.
In their caves. Go ahead.
But yeah, there's something to it. One of their reps came out. Remember a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, they came and gave us a cheese talk. His name's Tom Chatfield.
Yeah.
He's a good chap.
He's a good guy. Jolly good chap.
He always makes me think of Ed Sheeran. He kind of looks like Ed Sheeran,
That's
English.
hilarious. Yes.
But anyway, like he planted that, and now every time I taste it, I'm like, that's all I can think about.
That's it. You're just in your head. They're so similar. You could go through all of them. The Cheddars, Quix, Cheshire, Montgomery's, Keens. They all have that similar quality for sure. Yeah, very consistent. The British.
Yeah, and then even
consistent.
if you can find some of the ancient styles that are still made to this day, because some of them survived. Your Wensleydales, your Cheshire, your Double Gloucesters, they all have this thing that is very recognizable and
It's very English.
It's very English.
Like in a blind taste, you would totally
Easily.
immediately go, that's an English cheddar. That's an English cheese.
I can, blind tasting, yes, that's one thing. Like especially if I can smell them too. The appearance of like blind tasting is one thing, but to be able, if I looked at a plate and I didn't know what they were, if they weren't labeled, the appearance would tell me so much as well.
100%. Yeah.
So
you have multiple senses.
Yeah.
To be able to pick out that cheese.
Because I would be able to tell like what type of rind it was, and that would tell me if it was like more of an old world style versus something made in like Wisconsin or Vermont or something like that.
Tell us about the orange. Why is it orange?
The orange is annatto, and that's a dye that is natural. It doesn't really affect the flavor at all.
It's just a seed.
Yeah.
In Mexican cuisine,
there's a lot of
Anchote.
That's right.
Annatto.
And I believe annatto is a lot of it comes from Central and South America. And
I've never seen
me neither.
I've seen a pack of seeds, but I don't know what bush or tree they come off of. So I've never seen that.
I think it's the annatto tree.
Well, yeah, but
what else do I have about Quix? East Midlands.
Just Mary Quick. She's the kind of the matriarch.
Yeah.
Right now, and she's a hoot. Remember the Fancy Food Show?
Awesome,
she's always traveling and promoting her wonderful cheeses. I mean, she holds the tradition of classic old world English cheeses.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's very active. She's very much involved. I don't know what generation she would be, but she's a great writer. Like she writes their newsletter, and it's really entertaining.
It is. Look it up, you guys. Quix. You can see it on the label, and just go to Quix and sign up for her newsletter. It is. Yeah, good. I first met her at at a conference years ago. I don't remember what city we were in, but I was sitting next to her there was a presentation. And that's what you do with those things. You just strike up a conversation with the person next to you, and you find out, are you a retailer, wholesaler, cheesemaker? Are you media? Are you an educator? Yeah. And she's like, I'm Mary Quick, and I knew who she was. Like Mary Quick. And it's funny because like in our world, she's a celebrity. She is a celebrity. Is it weird that Mary Keene is also a celebrity? Are Marys like naturally cheese? There's probably if I think I could probably think of other Marys. Yeah. The Cowgirls, some other famous cheese. She celebrities. A Mary? No. Okay, I was gonna say not Marys. Okay. But and I just remember like talking to her and then we kept in touch and I got a chance to visit their farm years ago, and she's great. So I told her that I was with Venissimo Cheese in San Diego, and she knew Venissimo because it's a small world. But then she goes, I love San Diego. You know why? Why? Because she's a surfer. It's like I don't know her age, but she's a little bit older, British lady. She is, and she surfs? She surfs. Can you surf in England? Would that be so cold? Can you surf in England? Does anybody know this? Yeah. Well, I guess there's waves, but that seems just so cold. So their rep, Tom, he's also a surfer, and so he's really good friends with a guy who lives here locally, works at one of the distribution places, who's a surfer. Loves to surf. So that's how they oh my gosh, bonded. Yeah. Do you surf? I do not surf. I have never surfed. I think I would stink at it.
I'm not
sure.
I'm not good at things. Like I'm not good at skating. I wasn't good at
rollerblading.
No, I was never good at rollerblading. I was the guy who, when I got on the roller skates or rollerblades, my ankles turned in.
So like ice skating, no, not gonna happen.
I was bad at all that stuff.
Oh my god, I was a super roller skater. I could go backwards. I could do stick the leg out.
Really?
Oh yeah, I haven't tried it for a while, but
I think it's because I'm a control freak. Like I was bad at skiing. I was bad at snowboarding. And I think it's because in order to do those things, you kind of have to let go and trust the tools a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that says something about my psychology, that I'm a little bit of a control freak. What do you think?
Maybe. Look at your notes and your. It might be.
Well, this is true, but
it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
When I came, the surfing thing. When I moved to California. When I moved to Southern California.
Because you're a California boy.
I'm a Northern California boy, but boys, it's so different than Southern California. Might as well be a different state.
Might as well. Mm-hmm.
And when I came down here, everybody talked about surfing and skating and I
you didn't try any of them.
No, I don't do a lot of. I'm not into like thrills or a lot of I wouldn't be interested in jumping out of an airplane. I know you've done that.
Yes, come on, Rob. Okay, but not gonna happen.
I'm like, hey, the ocean is cool, but that's not my. That's for sharks and that's for animals, and
you know your place.
That's your territory.
Okay, you don't want them in your place, and you don't want to be in their place.
It's not like if I get attacked or something happens, then I can't complain. I can't. That's
awesome. I love your. It's a good theory, though. I see.
That's their world. We don't belong there. That's their place.
You are gonna hang glide over the Alps, and I'm going to make you do it.
I don't know. I'm a simple man. Give me a cheese plate. Give me a book.
And you're good and happy as a clam.
Yeah, give me a show on Netflix that's got 3 seasons or so. I'm happy. I'm happy as a clam.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay.
I don't need much.
I'm a simple man. Okay.
Okay. Well, that was Quix Red Lester.
That was Quix.
Or
yes.
cloth-bound cheese from Devon.
Devon.
What's
is Devonshire different than Devon?
Okay, Shire or Shire, when you see that, it means county.
Ah, so Devon is in Devonshire?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Devonshire is kind of like saying Greater Devon or like the Devon area. You know, it's kind of like
San Diego County.
Yeah, San Diego Shire. But you notice how a lot of the British cheeses are like Shropshire or
Shires.
Something Shire,
okay.
Derbyshire.
Mm-hmm.
Like did you ever read J.R. Tolkien?
Yes.
Do you remember
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, in Hobbit.
I didn't read that.
Well, they lived in like a shire, remember?
Yes.
That was like just meant their place, their little.
Do they
village.
say Shire too, or did they say Shire?
They said, well, if it's on its own, I think they said Shire.
Okay.
Yeah, like didn't they live in the Shire? Weren't they from the Shire?
I think so in the shows.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm not a nerd. So.
Yeah, Shires versus Shires. Worcestershire.
Yeah, Worcestershire.
It's not Worcestershire, it's Worcestershire.
Yeah.
But maybe on its own Shire.
It's
the Shire of Worcester?
Yeah.
Could be. The wine's kicking in.
All right.
Can we go blue, Rob? Can we go blue?
Bleu de Bocage.
That sounds so sexy. Bleu de Bocage. Bocage, and again, a natural rind while Rob is eating. It's still, and you can smell stony. It smells blue. You could put a blue under your nose blindfolded. You would smell the blue.
Yeah.
For sure. Not a ton of blue, so I would go on the mild side of blues, but we'll taste it together and find out. But always what we like to say is the more blue you see, the stronger it will be. Is that hold true for this one? Because it's kind of mild on the blues.
It reminds me of some of the really classic natural rinded blues. It's good. From southern France, Bleu d'Auvergne, Forme d'Ambert. That's what it reminds me of. Now there's a little bit of tanginess or funkiness, and that is because this is made with goat's milk.
That's so unique and interesting. You don't see that often.
But it has that natural rind, and I get that really metallic thing that I get from those other cheeses.
That's the best word to describe this, is metallic.
Like almost irony. Right? Like when you suck on a penny or something. Penny's not iron, but you know what I'm saying. Like metal.
Metal.
Or when you bite your tongue.
You sucked on pennies?
No, oh God, are you kidding me?
Well, then how do you know?
Disgusting. I mean, I've heard. as I... Oh, is that our alarm going off somewhere?
Remember that?
That's not in this.
I don't know. You got when you have a studio downtown San Diego, you're gonna hear all sorts of noise. I don't think so. I don't think that's us.
Maybe there's a
change.
truck
It wasn't
backing
us.
up or something.
Yeah, it must be.
So it is from the Loire Valley, and
Known for its goats.
exactly that's what I was going to say. Like, the goat or blue cheeses can be made with any type of milk, and then the region in France that is most known for goat's milk cheeses is the Loire Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So they just took goat's milk and made a blue, more similar, like the style of cheese is more similar to the cheeses from Auvergne, Bleu d'Auvergne,
Yes.
Camembert.
Mm-hmm. The texture's different.
Yeah, the
Maybe
texture,
the goat milk,
it
huh?
probably has to do with the goat's milk, and they do use animal rennet, which is the traditional rennet. It is pasteurized. It gets aged from 3 to 6 months, so it's 3+ always. And this is a cheese where a lot of them have been aged in New York.
That's so interesting to me, and New York's becoming a hub of aging.
Yeah, there's a few facilities in New York now where they will age
Affinage.
affinage, which means to the limit. It just means
okay.
well, it's where you finish off the cheese, and sometimes the cheesemaker does it. Sometimes they pass it on to somebody else. So this starts life in the Loire Valley in France, which is a large region. Again, it's also known for wine, but what region in France is not known for wine?
I've bicycled through the Loire Valley, not the
Have
whole
you?
Loire Valley, but
Yeah.
part of the Loire Valley. Yes. Nice. Okay.
Well, that's where all those
Oh my God,
ash-covered goat cheeses come from.
Oh, they're so good. All of them. I mean, they're all delicious.
But so for this one, a lot of the wheels they pass on to Murray's, which is on Bleecker Street, right there in Manhattan. It's a legendary cheese shop.
It is. They've been there for a long time, you guys. And if you get the chance to go see it. But they've expanded so much.
Yeah.
Had moved and stuff. But their new place, Rob, you walk along the sidewalk, and you go over they have it at the convention center, the steps. Kind of that plexiglass that you can look down as you're walking on something.
Yeah.
So as you're walking on Bleecker Street, you walk over this plexiglass and you can see the caves below. It's super cool.
Yeah, they've got a cheese school. We looked at their cheese classes when we started doing this whatever that was, 12, 13 years ago. They were already doing it, right? And we were like, what do we do? Let's just copy somebody else. Like, what do we charge? How does this work?
How does it work? What do people want to know?
Yeah. They have like on that same street, they have the aging area. They've got an area where they do classes. Then they have the retail shop.
Yeah.
And there are so many in New York, but there's also we've talked about the one in Brooklyn called Crown Finish Caves, and that's an old subway station.
Yeah, isn't that great? To take an old tunnel in the States and turn it into an aging cave. That's what they did in France. So it's like we're catching up. We're a little bit, and you're right, we need this meat now. Yeah, we'll get to this. But it's like we're catching up to the French.
Yeah.
Because they do it in old tunnels. Lots of aging in that. And it gets that mineral quality. But the blue with the meat, you guys, you got to go and do the Bresaola. People say Bresaola, but it's really Bresaola if you hear the Italians, right?
Yeah.
How is it? Smoky? You could smell the smoke. Remember we opened the lid and we're like, we smell smoke.
When we opened the lid, I thought I was smelling the Grayson, but then I realized it was the Bresaola.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about the Bresaola.
Yes, Bresaola.
Get into that.
Okay, Bona Forchetta always says Bresaola. You said Bresaola. What do we think?
I'm just doing it like phonetic, so I'm probably wrong.
I don't know. It's like Gouda and Gouda, probably, right?
It's B-R-E-O, wait. No, sorry, B-R-E-S E-O-L-A. Is that correct? Bresaola.
That's it. Bresaola.
Right.
So double like Bresaola.
Oh, wait, no. Bresaola. Like aioli.
It looks like it.
Okay.
But every time I order it, because I love Bona Forchetta, I'll plug for them. And I'll say, I want the salad, the Bresaola.
Will they correct you?
You want the Bresaola? Okay.
They say it back to you the correct
Exactly.
way.
Oh, sorry.
I do that sometimes.
Well, at the shop, we would do it. We'll have the manchego. Oh, you would like the manchego?
Oh, yeah.
We talk about this all the time. Yeah. Okay, that's super smoky and good, and I think with this, spectacular, right? Because it's meat.
I like the thinking there with the pairing.
Oh my, that is spectacular.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, this is like hand in hand. That's the best pairing so far because they just are scrumptious. And then but with the blue, it's awesome because who doesn't like blue cheese melted on their meat, on their steak?
Yeah.
It's so good. So the blue with the Bresaola, you guys try that.
And blue with meat is like, it's like savory on savory. It's sometimes that works though.
It works. That blue is salty. George, I agree with George. I love it. It's super smoky, which normally our Brasaola is not so smoky, but today this version
one
is very smoky.
More than normal.
More than normal, but spectacular with that blue cheese and awesome with this Malbec.
So
Awesome.
the thing with Brasaola,
If you're Italian.
Brasaola is that it's always beef, salted beef. That's what sets it apart. Most charcuterie, most cured meat is pork, or at least pork is in it. This is 100% beef.
This is one of the few.
Do you know what region this comes from? Brasaola?
No. Give me a second. Beef.
Do you want a hint?
I do.
Okay, this is like a Jeopardy clue. No, not
They
exactly.
don't give clues, do they?
They give answers.
Okay. What is? Which region?
A region that was settled by the, let's see, long-bearded Vikings.
Sicily? No.
Long beard.
Okay,
Long
beards. Okay, there's something in there, and I know it's going to be like so duh when you say it, but no, I have no idea.
Lombardy. Long beards.
Long beards. Is that true?
Yes,
Lombardy
that's
is
where it comes
long
from.
beards?
Yeah.
This is why we have the professor, you guys, to teach us this. Really?
Yeah.
Lombardy's long beards, and those are Vikings that came over.
Yeah, they
And
had the long beards, and they came down
That's
from the
fascinating.
north. Yeah,
I love that.
and they
So
Normandy means Northmen, meaning Vikings.
Okay.
So that was another one.
What?
Okay, this comes from a place in the Alps, or a valley in the Alps called Valtellina. The word Val means valley. Val d'Aosta. And the word comes from the Lombard word bressada, which means braised.
Braised.
But it's not really
Not
braised.
It's not braised, it's cured, but okay.
That's just where the word comes from. So you know how things change over time.
Awesome, though. That's great history. Did not know that. So Lombardy must have much more cattle and beef, obviously.
That's what made me think of it. Okay, so we were saying how most cured meat is made with pork.
Yeah.
So it's not a coincidence that it comes from the north. So like if you break down the food by region in Italy, like in the central and south, you get more of the goat and sheep.
Then seafood down in the
And seafood, of course, on the Amalfi Coast, or on the Adriatic. In the north, there's more cattle, there's more meat,
And pigs
and cow's milk cheeses.
Oh,
So like
so good.
Lombardy, Piedmont, and then on the east where you have Veneto and Friuli, those are like your Asiagos and Montasios. Fontina comes from the north. Those are all the cow's milk cheeses.
yes.
So it
It
fits right in.
It fits right in. But that's so nice. There is an option to pork. I love the pork salumis and stuff, but this is so lean. Like that is lean meat. It's delicious.
And it has a kind of a darker color to it. Sometimes this one's more smoky, but usually I'll get like a cherry.
That's what I think too. And it's
Yeah.
not cherry today, it's
No.
much more smoked today.
I get
this
all
is
smoked.
almost speck-like.
It is,
Which
yeah.
is a smoked prosciutto, but in a beef form.
And speck, by the way, is another one that is really popular in northern Italy and Austria
Yeah.
and Switzerland.
Oh yeah, I think I told you before, our Gert's neighbor, my mom, she grew up in Little Austria, right at the border of Italy. My God, Rob, this house was hundreds of years old, and the walls were literally black, probably this thick with soot, because he would smoke his speck in there every day, and you would smell it out on the street. Amazing.
Did he hang the legs and stuff everywhere too?
Not legs, because they would do, speck's usually smaller
right,
portions,
right,
so
yeah.
it was never the whole leg. It was like the pieces of it, but completely smoked. Smoke coming out, smoke. But black. But this is as smoky. This is almost smokier than speck.
That makes me think of the Sausage King. That
Does
was
everybody
over
this
on
Mission Hill.
West
George will know this
Washington.
for sure, George.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, George has been there
That's
since
Mission
early
Hills.
2000s. So they were there when George moved to the neighborhood.
The Sausage King.
Sausage King
Yeah.
were they Polish? Where were they from?
German.
They were German.
They
Okay.
were German. Husband, wife.
Yeah. And
Manfred was his name.
oh, see, I just would
Yeah.
go in there and I remember they had like the blood sausages, but it was the same sort of situation. The wall, like there probably
Yes.
was a layer like this on the walls.
Thick. Yeah, because they would just smoke it
Yeah.
right there. You had Sausage King, And then at that time, you had Phil's Barbecue at the same time.
That's right.
So Mission Hill was a smoky place, but super delicious. You got those great foods, and now neither of them are up there anymore. Sad day. But Manfred, the German smoker, Landjägers.
Yeah.
The little sausages. Did you know he used to make those Landjägers and sell them to people in World War II? That's how long the Sausage King was in San Diego, in Mission Hills. He was selling those sausages to the war effort in World War II.
I remember, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I would work back in the day shifts at Mission Hills, and Gert, who Gina mentioned, that's her mom, at the time she lived in Denver, and she would come out and visit during the holidays, and she for every holiday season, Gert would come and stay for like 4 weeks.
Yep.
Or something, whatever,
Yeah.
5 weeks, 3 weeks, and she would always take the bus usually over to Mission Hills, and she'd want to work because that's just her personality.
Let me work.
Yeah. So me and Gert and usually somebody else would be in the shop. Sometimes Gina or whoever. And we would go over. Me and Gert would go over to the Sausage King, and she would go shopping and tell me about all the different sausages and stuff. Oh, you got to try this. You got to try this. They'd be speaking in German.
Labor case.
Yeah.
Which is this bologna with egg, is the best description.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times, right?
It's fun.
All around food.
Yeah.
All these good times are food related.
It's how it is, Didn't Anthony Bourdain say something like, if you want to learn a culture, eat their food, something like that?
Yes, and nothing is more true.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, try their whatever it is, right? How would you not?
It's the inspiration behind our Veni Voyages.
Yes.
Really, that whole concept, that idea.
Of just immersing in and trying. And, Rob, every time we do we talk about this, you go and you immerse in that culture. And yes, the food could be completely different, but the people are the same. They're all friendly. Everybody just wants to enjoy life. They just want to eat together and laugh together. But I just like to bring the different perspectives together.
Yeah.
You've been to Austria in the little town, and just being able to talk to them, and you have a different viewpoint of life, but at the end it all comes down to those same things, those beautiful, wonderful things, but most of the time it's centered around food.
It's more about what we have in common than what we don't have
exactly.
in common.
And to celebrate that is so awesome. And to get together like this and celebrate, these are, I don't know,
and it's interesting, like you've got southern France, you've got kind of Western Central, England. You've got Virginia, the last one.
Virginia, we got to get to Virginia.
And let's start with that, the Grayson. But these, I'm sure these cheesemakers and the people that are from these areas probably live very, very different
lives. Yeah.
But if you get these 4 cheesemakers together,
In
they
one
would
room.
be able to talk for hours and hours and hours because they're really all doing the same thing.
Yep.
But look at also like how different their the end result is for each of them.
Exactly.
How different they look, how different they taste.
But they all bring joy to us.
And they're all really, they all go through the same steps, the same process too.
Yes, 100%. Like no differentiation, except the smell and the finished product can be very different. Everybody has to pick this up and smell it, right? Did you smell? Wow. I'm surprised we're not smelling that more. Because I haven't had this for 6 months. 9 months. It's been a long time. Yeah.
Grayson is.
You guys, you're in for a stinky treat. In the world of cheese, stinky is a good word, right?
Grayson is from cheesemaker
Oh my God.
called Meadow Creek. And they're also from the Highlands of Virginia.
The Highlands, okay.
I don't think it's as high elevation as Mendoza. But cheese from Virginia. They've been making it since the late 80s. So that's pretty old for an American artisan cheese.
Exactly. That's kind of when everything's kind of started, that 70s, 80s.
The funny thing?
Wow, that's so good.
The cheesemakers and the founders, their name, Rick and Helen Feet.
Feet. And their cheese.
Feete.
Feete.
Yeah.
And their cheese tastes like feet. Smells like feet.
It tastes.
I don't taste feet.
I don't.
Haven't tasted feet.
Whatever your thing is, that's cool.
Whatever you want to do.
It's made from Jersey cow milk.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And it's made from raw milk which means not pasteurized. So anytime something gets aged over 60 days, we can make it with raw milk or sell it with raw milk.
In this country or imported.
Yeah.
Same rule.
Exactly, 60 days. And Grayson is just the name of their county. So they did the traditional thing where they name the cheese after the place it comes from, like the county. And it's a stinky cheese. It's a washed rind cheese. It's cow's milk. It looks a lot like a taleggio.
Oh, because it's a square.
It's a square.
Mm-hmm.
And taleggio is the Italian version of a stinky washed rind. Usually they're more connected with French cheeses, but taleggio is the one that's made in northern Italy.
Probably the most famous square cheese.
Yeah.
Taleggio.
I'm trying to think of what else. There's other square cheeses that are a little bit smaller, but the taleggio and the Grayson are both, I don't know, 4 pounds, I would say.
Oh my gosh, Rob. Truly, in the stinky realm of cheeses, this is one of my absolute favorites.
It's good.
I love the grittiness on the rind.
Are you eating the whole rind?
Yep.
Oh.
I eat that.
I'm going to eat part of it.
No, eat the whole thing. You got to see. It's gritty.
Yeah.
It's yummy.
Interesting.
The interior is awesome. This is my probably favorite stinky. Maybe.
Wow,
It might be one of my favorite stinky cheeses. Taleggio is a little yeasty for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Italy. But this one I adore. I don't know. I love this. And it's too gritty. What do you think?
No, it's okay? Good. I like a little bit of a younger version, to be quite honest.
This is a stinky one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. I would prefer it a little milder. This is okay for me. The rind is a little too gritty for me.
Yeah.
I prefer the paste. I'm just keeping it real, okay? I'm just being honest.
Keeping it real.
But you know the thing that bugs me about taleggio?
What?
The paper gets like amalgamated
Can
with the
somebody
rind.
talk to taleggio?
Oh my gosh.
Because that is ridiculous.
Yeah, unless I want to eat paper, I have to cut off the rind.
Yeah, but the rind is what you want to eat, and
Right.
I agree, it's
Every single
impossible. So
time.
that's why if you buy a piece, you guys, you might get paper on it because we can't get it off. And
It's not going to kill you, but still, I
it's not gonna
prefer
kill
to
you.
not eat it.
Yeah.
But I will if I have to.
I will, we will. But you're right, exactly. But wow, that is so good.
Now
And it's good with all of these have been good with wine. By the way, this one included. I was worried it wouldn't be, but it is.
So what else would be kind of in this family? I mean,
Limburger.
Yeah, Limburger, Munster, Cowgirls, Red Hawk.
Right.
See
Anything
this?
Epoisse? No,
Yeah,
it's too
Epoisse.
Epoisse. I mean, it's just a stinky washed rind.
Yeah, it gets so hard categorizing because there are similarities, right? So like all, you know, like when you say like all washed rinds are this, but not all this are washed rind, like that kind of. So like you have Epoisse is also a washed rind.
Yes.
It's also cow's milk.
Yes.
Epoisse is always, it's a smaller format. It's always softer. It's just made, has
Almost
a different
spreadable.
texture. But
washed nonetheless and stinky nonetheless. And can we just say, you guys, you want to learn about a little bit more about why cheeses are stinky? You saw the little Netflix
I did.
series. Not a series. It's a program that
It is. There's a show that's going to be on Netflix. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it if we don't have all the information. But it is a. It's a
Watch for it.
cheese. It's a science program. It's more directed at kids.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a big long segment on cheese and why cheese is stinky and why they're so different. And it's going to be led by Dr. Rachel Dutton, who lives here in San Diego, and she has a lab at UCSD. Before that, she was at Harvard, and she's like the leading she's a world-renowned microbiologist who studies cheese and cheese rinds.
Yeah.
And so we work with her quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we've
done so many great events
collaborate
and
with her.
stuff with her. Yeah.
I just did one last week with her for a private event, but
awesome.
so she has this like Netflix show coming out, and they filmed it at our Del Mar shop, which is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool because they brought in the microscopes and everything, so you could really look at the rinds close up and see what's happening.
Warning, it can gross you out though.
It can, but then you go, wow, but that's natural. That's nature, and that's good, and super, super cool. But you realize that this one I loved. you watched the segment, right?
Yeah.
That the smell you get from stinky feet, that bacteria, is exactly the same bacteria that you get on these rinds, which is why they both smell like stinky feet.
It's the same.
It's fascinating, right?
It's the same bacteria that is found in dead skin cells. So
that's
take
so
that.
weird. Wait, where'd you hear this one? Where'd you
Rachel?
make this up? What?
Dr. Rachel Dutton.
Oh, okay. That wasn't in the episode.
No, because it's probably too intense.
It might be too much. The
That's
mites were also intense, but okay.
It's a kid. It was a kid show. It's a kid show. Oh, you know what you can do, YouTube world? There's a preview clip on YouTube. That
There
you can
is,
find.
yes.
So I don't know what they would search. What's it?
Type in Rachel Dutton stinky cheese.
Or
You'll find it.
in Netflix or something.
Netflix,
right?
you'll find
preview.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same bacteria found in dead skin cells. So
That's crazy.
now that we're done
Didn't know?
eating,
Stop.
do you really want me to keep going on this?
Yeah, because I'll still eat because it makes no difference to me. But weird.
Rotting corpses will have a certain smell, and I know it's horrible to say, but that's something that I've heard Rachel say in cheese classes for grown-ups. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. But cheese is the only food that I can think of. Tell me if I'm wrong. Where mold, stinky, earth, barnyard,
Bacteria,
rotting corpses,
yeah.
and bacteria,
Dirt.
mites, and dirt are okay.
Yeah.
And you want those.
Yeah. I mean,
Is there another food that you want those flavors?
I hear some weird
Tell
descriptors
me.
in wine, but I think cheese.
Leather
is
and
better.
tar.
Yeah.
But you don't get
You hear cat pee?
corpses.
No, not corpses. not dirty gym socks.
You did not just say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
But I love that part about them.
Yeah. There's once
It's
you
a fascinating
once you
world.
really get develop a taste for the strong ones, the Alpines, the Waschtreins. When people ask me all the time, what are your favorites, and
They tend to be that vein, right?
that's what I go to first. In my cheese drawer at home, I will always have an Alpine, and I will always have something soft and stinky. So whether it would be the Grayson, and then the other type of soft but pungent cheese would be the Bries and Camembert, which is a little bit of a different style.
Yeah, they're not washed, but they're
not
stinky.
washed. Yeah, they're strong though. And I love a good Camembert.
Can we just do all Camembert one day? Because there's
Yeah.
many makers of Camembert.
Yeah, there's many makers, and there's also just like
Camembert?
there's Camembert style cheeses. So like there's a cheese from northern Italy. We've talked a lot about northern Italy today. But there's one made with buffalo milk, buffalo Camembert, and I've seen things that are Camembert style but made with goat's milk. There's a cheese from Minnesota called Bent River, and it's a Camembert style. So like you could do a cheese plate of 4 different Camembert styles,
And have it be completely different.
and one would be
The Camembert.
the original, the OG.
Yes, but there's so many makers of them. Think of it, Rob.
Yeah.
Like French Camemberts. I don't know. Do I like Bocage better? Do I like the Fermier better?
Grain d'Orge.
Oh, you just sit there and eat those 3, and then it depends on the age. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say one day I like this one better, but the next day I like this one better.
Yeah.
But that's, Rob, why
That's
the fun of the cheese.
The fun of it.
And anytime you guys now we're back, we're in the shop, you can sample because every wheel is different. The Bleu de Bocage we had on the plate today will not be the same as the Bleu de Bocage 3 months from now.
Yeah.
It just won't. But that's the fun of it all, that it's
never
unexpected.
ending. It's never ending, and it
Yeah.
never gets boring. If you like flavor. If you don't like flavor, then go, don't worry about it.
Then what?
Just move along. Like, we're not for you.
We're not for you. Move along.
I had a buddy who he's like, hey man, I want to do a team building thing for my work. Like, don't you do those? Don't you do cheese tastings? And I'm like,
yeah, I do them all the
yeah, all the time. Oh, hey, could you explain it to my boss? He goes, I go, sure. And I wrote him an email, kind of explaining how it works. And they're like, oh well, I mean, why wouldn't we just go to the grocery store and get some cheese and eat it? And I'm like, I told my buddy, I'm like, it's probably not for you. Like,
probably not the same.
I don't think this is probably not. It's not for everybody.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of people that do like it.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
It is not for.
And
Just like anything is some things are not for everybody.
Yeah, there's
some things
certain
are not
restaurants.
for me either.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, some people like Papa John's. Some people.
He's whispering. Papa John's.
Some people like buona forchetta.
True. Pizza. You could
Yeah.
argue all day
Very,
on
very
the
different.
qualities of pizza.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like whatever you like, then that's great.
Exactly. That's it.
I
There's
always
no
say that.
discrimination up against it. It doesn't matter. We could do a plate of Velveeta and singles. We should do that one day.
Yeah.
There's some good
Cheese
qualities
whiz.
and reasons you would use some of those cheeses, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Time and a place.
So good. So George is commenting a lot. Can we love George.
Yeah. What does George have to say?
George,
Sorry,
so
I can't see it, George.
Loved all the pairings. And George, I am with you. I loved them all today. I expected not to, but I did. So same. He thinks what makes the world of cheese so fascinating is the broad varieties, and subtle differences, Almost every cheese has a story, and you're exactly right. Most of them have some much love behind them, or love. I mean, it's not a labor. It's not a business of making huge money or any of this. There's a labor of love behind cheesemakers and what they do. And George, you're right. There's almost a story behind every single one. That they just have animals. They just want to preserve the milk. They just love cheese from the beginning. I mean, the reason we started Venice, I love cheese, and Rob, it's because you spoke Pig Latin is how you got into cheese, and look what has happened. Yeah, I mean, there's subtle stories and subtle differences, but the nuances are fun, and it's fun to just try something different. To me, never wanted it to be where it's always consistent. Sometimes you want that. I know. I don't know. When do I want super consistency? I want my dish soap to always. Wait, can you tell me? Go ahead.
When I'm in a strange place,
Okay.
and I just need some sustenance.
Okay.
And I need to know what I'm getting. And I know if I see a McDonald's, the arches for McDonald's.
You're gonna get okay.
And I know the number one combo. I think it's a Big Mac combo. I know what the fries are gonna taste like. I know what the Big Mac is gonna taste like. I know the size of it. I know what I'm paying for. I know it's gonna cost $9.30, whatever. You know what I mean? I know exactly what I'm getting.
That makes you comfortable, and you just know it.
Sure.
But when do you do that? You don't do that when you're in Europe.
I don't do that. Okay, I'm just talking for the in general.
In general, just that you
for
just.
myself, I'm
craving
an odd
this,
bird.
so I'm going to go here because I know I'm going to get that.
Gina, I'm the person,
You're
and my
an odd
wife
bird.
laughs at me. I take a different route home every time I go home.
We are the same birds.
Because to
Otherwise
me,
it's
I'm
boring.
like, I do something different every day. Now, there are people, and I know most people I know like the consistency. They want to know what they're doing. Otherwise, it's scary. It's
Unknown.
I like to be put in a situation where I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I know you do too.
It's the adrenaline rush. It's like this feel of newness.
Yeah.
I don't know, something.
I want to be put in the
strange.
mix. I want the most stressful situation.
Yes.
I want 10 million things happening. And I want that challenge every day.
Yeah. I cannot just do the status quo, and I don't want to eat the same. Although I love some of the same cheeses, I want to try the other ones because they're so amazing.
Well, do you know people that order the same thing every time you go to a restaurant?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
people.
and you know people who or people who order something different every time you go to. I'm that person who orders something different every time I go.
Is Sam order the same?
She's pretty conceit. My wife is very into health, so she is. She wouldn't be mad at me for saying this. She's kind of a boring eater. She likes she likes a chicken or
Lean
turkey,
chicken,
very
turkey. I
lean.
get you salmon and all the good.
So she's and because of what she does and because of the
that's
thing
her
that
life
that's what she's interested in. That's to her that's valuable, and she likes that discipline. Yeah, and so that's great. To each his own or her own.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're yin and yangs, and so are we.
Yeah,
so,
that's why it works.
So fascinating.
Paula Abdul said it.
She did?
Opposites attract.
On that note, I think that's going to have to sum it all up because that pretty much does. RobbyG, next wine up, number 32.
Is it Albarino?
Tempranillo.
Close.
Spanish.
Okay.
So we're going from Argentina to Spain with Tempranillo on October 20th.
Okay.
So a while from now, but thank you guys for joining me. These were all spectacular. George, I think so too. Everybody eat up. This was a big plate. Rob, even this is a first when Rob hasn't eaten the whole plate.
I had a late lunch, but I'll
Take
handle it. I'll take care of it.
But we so appreciate you guys jumping in. I hope you enjoyed this. I did. I think they all worked. We look forward to the next one, and take care, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers.
And Rob's empty, but cheers and good night. Sleep tight, and see you next time.
Happy
Ciao.
Wino.
Happy Wino. It's good to be a wino.
Yeah, I wasn't as hungry as I usually